personally. I quoted a medrash that we find in Koheles and Perek Gimel. The medrash says, "Mesoira zu yehei biyad." Kol ha'oisik b'mitzvah samo kulevi soso. If a person is engaged in a mitzvah before his demise, before he perishes, הרי זה דומה כאילו לא יהיו מידס צדקוסי חסרו אלו מצווה זו ובו בהשלימה. If a person passes from this world while he's engaged in a mitzvah, it is as if Kadosh Baruch Hu testifies that all he was lacking is this one mitzvah. Bo v'hishlima v'ala v'sara Hashem. So these tzaddikim, nafsham yotzu b'dabram, while being in a Mokum Kodesh, this is our holy sanctuary, the Beis Mikdash Ma'at. We have nothing that is holier and more precious than a shul. In shul with talis and tefillin, which is a tremendous chus. But that doesn't lessen the tragedy. Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu could be noikim dam, nikmas dam, avodav hashof, Hashem yinkom dam. Idam avodav yukom, v'nokim yoshev letzoro v'chiper ad mosayam. So on one hand, with all the natural anger and wrath we have on these barbarians, on the other hand, we have to do a cheshbon nefesh. The great Tana Rabbi Akiva says in Perek Gimel, Mishnah Tezvav and Mesechet Avos, Hakol Safui Ba'arashus Insuma. And it is only once that the Rambam is moved and inspired and is spoiled. Very uncommon for the Rambam. And the Rambam says, Zeh ha'mamar koilol dvorim gedolim ha'oid v'ra'ui l'Rabbi Akiva ben Yosef. The Rambam says only Rabbi Akiva could make such a profound statement. And I say only the Rambam could compliment Rabbi Akiva for the profound statement that he made. So on one hand, everything is predestined and predetermined. Nothing could happen in this world if it's not a Kadosh Baruch Hu's will. But that does in no way diminish the liability and responsibility of human beings. On one hand, we have Bechira. Ish becheto yumas, v'rashoam tiradof ra. But on the other hand, we believe that everything is predetermined. These people, time has come for them to go up to Gan Eden, to go home, to face their destiny. Kadosh Baruch Hu wanted them up there. In no way does that diminish the horror of these murderers. So we are required to do cheshbon nefesh, because the Rambam writes in the first halakha of the studies, Mitzvah sasei shel Torah lizoik v'laharia al kol sorei shetovei al yisor. And the Rambam goes on in Halacha Gimel to say, V'im lo yizaku v'lo yariu v'yomru. It is coincidence. Areizu derech echzorius. V'tova yitzor azu tzarot acharot. Kadosh Baruch Hu speaks to us. And when tragedy strikes, He is demanding. And He wants us to listen. And the Rambam interprets the pasuk, Im telchu imi b'keri, ani elech imochem b'chamat keri. Keri is a lotion of mikra, coincidence. If you will not take to heart, and you will merely say, and dismiss my call to you, and you will say, well, it happens. Things like this happen. They happen in Japan, they happen in Korea, they happen in Russia. It happens. No. Things don't just happen. Things happen when HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants them to happen, and therefore it is incumbent upon us cheshbon nefesh. Lo novi ani v'lo ben novi. I'm not a prophet. And when people ask me all day, so what is it exactly that we have to be mitaken? I think everybody should know where he is lacking and what he has to be mitaken. But generally, I think there are the asaidas which Chazal teach us are ma'orer rachamim shema. I think when terrible tragedy strikes us, the first chizik we need is an emunah and an ahavas Hashem. The Pasuk says, "V'yodato im lavavecho, ki ka'asher yiyaseh ish et beno Hashem Elokecho miyasorecho." Like a father punishes his children out of love, or a mother. Ki ka'asher yiyaseh ish et beno Hashem Elokecho miyasorecho. And a Parshas Re'eh, when the Pasuk says, "Boni matim Hashem Elokechem," Vayis is godly. V'roi tasimu krochem enenechem lemeis. The Ramban says, you are a Kodesh Baruch Hu's children. And a Kodesh Baruch Hu loves us more than a father loves his children. A Kodesh Baruch Hu loves us more than a father loves his children. How much more? I wonder, how much more? Well, whenever we speak in allegory, b'derech moshel u'melitze, we necessarily have to use terms we are familiar with. So we know of no greater love than the love of a father to his children, parents to their children. So when we look for a moshel, how does the Kodesh Baruch Hu's love to us manifest itself? The Pasuk says, "Boni matim l'Hashem Elokechem," like children. The Ramban says the Kodesh Baruch Hu loves us more than a father could ever love his children. How much more? 1,000,000 times? 1,000,000,000 times? Infinitely more. Because the Kodesh Baruch Hu is infinite. Ein sof. But we need to feel and not only believe. Ki kasher yiyaseh ish et beno Hashem Elokecho miyasorecho. That is what Rabbi Akiva taught us when he said, "Kol di'ovid rachmon l'ta'avovid." And Rabbi Akiva was a disciple of Nocham Ish Gamzu that Al Kol Tzorei Shalei Torah said Gamzu l'Torah. When a person says Kavolos Ol Malchus Shemayim, you cover your eyes when you say Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Hashem Elokeinu are two different names of a Kodesh Baruch Hu. One indicative of Midas Adin. Elokim is Midas Adin, while Havai is Midas Arachim. So we say Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu. Ultimately, Hashem Echad. And Midas Adin, in a way, is also Midas Arachim. But we don't see that, and that is why we cover our eyes when we make this statement. Yes, it's difficult to see, but we believe that is what we were for. And we believe, Ki ka'asher yiyaseh ish et beno Hashem Elokecho miyasorecho, and when we heard that Kodesh Baruch Hu feels our pain in an infinite way, more than we could feel the pain of our beloved children. And that is what we believe, and this is what keeps us going. And this is what was so obvious when I visited these 4 wonderful families in Harlem. We need to be mischazik in Torah, because the Mishnah says, "Mar b'Torah, mar b'chaim, ki hi chayechem v'orech yamechem." Torah is life. And aside to that, Chof Alav, the Gemara says, Torah more than any other mitzvah is aguri magnu u'metzila matzne. Torah gives us security more than any other mitzvah. So many times we are accustomed to hear from Darshanim, from Rabbanim, never did Klal Yisrael learn as much Torah as it does today. Never was there a generation of so many Lamdim as we have today. If we are so great, why are we so pained? Why does tragedy strike us? We believe in Din Shemayim. So obviously we're not as great as we sometimes think we are. And I think that each and every one of us, when he does his own personal cheshbon nefesh, Al mishkavoi beleilot. We could all do more. We could all learn more. And I'm quite confident about that. There are still many Yidden amongst us that aren't kaveitim l'Torah. And those that are kaveitim l'Torah could learn far more than they are learning. I think so. I think that I could learn more than I'm learning. And I think that everybody could feel that in his own stadium. So we need to renew our dedication and our devotion to Torah. We need to daven more. Because when tragedy strikes, that's what the Rambam says, Lizoig v'lahariya. Tefillah is defined as rachamim. And that is the Gemara in Brochas Kafum in Beis. The Gemara says, L'chayra, women should be exempt from the mitzvah of tefillah. This is a mitzvah to say Shazman Grona. But the Gemara says that is impossible. Because tefillah is rachamim. Is anybody in this world not in a need of rachamim shemayim? So tefillah is the tool. Tefillah is the means to be zocheh to rachamim shemayim. So the Gemara says, regardless of the rule, no shema poter mitzvah shei sheman groma, but tefillah is rachamim. There cannot be any Jew that's potter from tefillah because we all need rachamim shemayim. And when tragedy strikes, mitzvah aseh shel Torah lizoig v'lahariya, and to cry before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, mishachama lo'elam ha'ida yoim alatzoroseinu. And we need to do far more in ahavas reim and ahavas Yisrael. Being more tolerant one towards another, in the personal level and the communal level, far more ahavas Yisrael. The Netziv writes in his unbelievable introduction to the Hammond of Al-Chavish Shutayr, speaking about Churban Bayesheni. Yom Adavtes, the Gemara says Churban Bayesheni was caused by sinas chinam. So the Netziv writes, they were tzaddikim, chasidim, va'ameiloi Torah. What could be greater than that? Tzaddikim, va'chasidim, va'ameiloi Torah. But they were lacking in midas and in yashas harichoseim, and they had sinas chinam. And each of them thought that anybody that has a different opinion than he has isn't kosher enough. And anybody that thinks differently is a tzedoiki va'apikoyos. Va'eina kodesh Baruch Hu soivel tzadikim ka'ela. I'm quoting the Lashon of the Netziv. Nobody doubted their tzidkis. Tzadikim, chasidim, va'amelei Torah. So the Netziv says, some tzadikim HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves more, and some he loves less. They're all tzadikim. Ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu soivel tzadikim ka'elah. And 300 years before the Netziv, one of the greatest in Kabbalah was Rabbeinu Avram Azulai, Sefer Chesed LaAvram. And he uses far harsher language than the Netziv. And he says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu soneh ha'mekatregim al bonav, gam im tzadikim gedolim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu soneh ha'mekatregim al bonav. So obviously, as you look at me, I'm a chassid. Should be obvious. We'll leave for another day to discuss what a chassid is. But everybody knows about the Baal Shem Tov. Number 2, as a teacher of all chassidim, regardless of shape, color, and form, is the Noam Elimelech. The Elimelech Melechens, and in his famous tefillah, that Chassidim B'yan Shemasa say before davening every morning, there's this famous line, why is it that we always focus on our midas and on the shortcomings of others? We have it the opposite, the wrong way. We should have far more tolerance and far more ahavas Yisrael. I think we are extremely lacking in this area. Kodesh Baruch Hu is a father. That is how we refer to Kodesh Baruch Hu in our tefillahs. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Avurachama. And if we call a Kodesh Baruch Hu a father, it is because we should relate to him as a father. Just a few moments ago, we discussed the Ramban, Bonim Makom Hashem Elokech. You cannot love the father and hate his children. I don't think anybody would tolerate that. You can't be my friend and fight my children. This is something which is totally unacceptable. So you can't love a Kodesh Baruch Hu and hate his children. That is impossible. If you love a Kodesh Baruch Hu, you need to love his children. And we are all a Kodesh Baruch Hu's children. We are all Bono Shel Elokei. So I had the schus of being Mishamish, the great Kloisenberger Rebbe. Many years I was his Talmud. And I see him as my Rebbe Muvak. And as you all probably know, he lost a wife and 11 children in the Holocaust. I myself am the son of survivors. My father and mother, Baruch Hashem, Sheyichu Adbi as well said that and I once heard from my Rebbe, the person who says that when we came out of those camps, we would never believe that Jews would ever fight each other or hate each other. There is so much hatred out there. Look at this unbelievable hatred of these murderers in Harnaf. There are too many people that hate us in the first place. Do we need to add on amongst our brothers? We are a small people, hated in the entire world. How could one Jew hate another? This is something which I cannot grasp. This is something which is unbelievable. And this is an area in which we need a lack of chizuk. Being shalom. Talmidei Chacham Amar Shalom Yodem. Lo nitnu Torah lahar Shalom Yodem. The Rambam writes at the end of Hilchos Chanukah. So we all need a lot of chizuk in Torah, in Tefillah, in Amunah, and in Midas Tevis, and in Ahava Sarei. Yishes Re'eu Yazeru, Ula'ochav Yom Chazak. Feeling the pain of other Jews, feeling their desperation, and trying to be helpful, dedicating time and effort to the Midas Chassadim, to care about other people, and to try to ease their pain. So there's a very famous story of Rav Moshe Leib Nisasa, who was a disciple of Rabbi Melech Milezhensky. And Rav Moshe Leib Nisasa, who once said that the profound meaning of Yehavta Re'echa Kamoicho I learned from a Gentile. So I don't want you to be surprised. That is in accordance with the Baal Shem Tov principles. The Baal Shem Tov said whatever a person sees, whatever he hears, whatever he experiences, comes to teach him. Whatever we see or experience comes to teach us something. So Rav Moshe Leib Nisasa said, I was once walking on the street and I hear two goyim conversing. Mr. A asks Mr. B, do you love me? And Mr. B says, aren't you ashamed to ask? I mean, we've been the best of friends for 20 years, of course. So Mr. A asks, so what hurts me? Mr. B says, how would I know if you didn't tell me? Mr. A asks, how would you say you love me if you don't even know what hurts me? But you didn't tell me. Did you inquire? Do you care? Did you ask? How could you say you love me if you don't even know what hurts me? Said Rav Moshe Leib Nisasa. That is the Even HaBoichin. That is the test of Ahava Sarei. You don't even know what hurts me. So how could you say you love me? But you didn't tell me. Do I have to tell you? Do you care? Did you inquire? Did you ask? So ultimately, this is the test. When tragedy strikes, I think we have to stick together and invest far more in Midas Tevis and Ahavas Reim, in Gemilas Chasadim, and stay away from machlokes. Reject machlokes with total rejection. have Jew haters out there. We don't need to add to them. So let us all hope that we will see Rachamei Shamayim Be'id Galia Velo Be'id Kasmi. So Zmiris L'Shabbos Mincha Social that came out a few months ago. Here's a nice board. Leil Shabbos Kodesh, Friday night, before sitting down to Suda Shabbos, there's a tefillah, which Hasidim say, probably many others. We say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Moed ani lefanecha al kol hachesed asher osisu imadi, v'she'ata osed la'aseh imi v'yem kol b'nei beisi. So when you thank on the Chasadim of the past, you say asher osisu imadi. But then we go on to ask for Chasadim in the future, and we say asher ata osed la'aseh imi v'yem kol b'nei beisi. So my idea is, regarding the past, we thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for all his chasadim. We believe that everything ultimately is chesed. But please HaKadosh Baruch Hu for the future, give us chasadim that even our kids should be able to thank you. Kol b'nei beis, the Ingalach, the Meidalach, the little children. It should be chasadim that would be obvious to everyone. And the entire family should be able to be united in giving thanks and gratitude to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Chasadim HaMerubim. We should all know better days, days of Rachamim and Chesed. We should all make our own Cheshbon and Nefesh and let this tragedy bring about that we should all be better people and better Jews and more loving Jews. And we should be Zoichet Echaz Yishumayim. Dam avodav yikoim, v'nokem yoshev v'tzorov, v'chiper ad mosai amoy, and we should be zoichet to be as Mashiach tzidkeinu, v'simchas olam al rishon v'meiru v'yumeinu. Amen.